Exactly a month ago, Rajasthan was on the boil after communal clashes broke out in Karauli. The similar template seems to have now been followed in Jodhpur. The city remained restive since last night when violence broke out in the Jalori Gate area of the state. So what exactly happened? Let me tell you through these 6 videos. Video number 1 is that of an Islamic flag. The claim is that it was placed on top of a freedom fighter statue. The other version is that the clashes broke out because a saffron flag was removed earlier. Another video shows loudspeakers being taken down that were installed ahead of Eid celebrations, installed with due permission, but some resorted to violence to take it down. 12 hours later, the local administration had swung into action, or so it's believed. They removed all the flags and hoisted the tricolour to end all religious debate. But that was definitely not the end of the debate, because the violence continued and the videos that I'm showing you now are most disturbing. An armed mob ran riot on the streets of Jodhpur with even swords in their hands. Stones were pelted at vehicles that were parked on the street side. Public property vandalized, and some vehicles were even set on fire by an irate mob. All while the police that was supposed to be on high alert was nowhere to be seen in the wee hours of the morning. Even a BJP MLA's house was not spared. Suryakanta Vyas, the MLA of BJP, also a witness to what transpired in Jodhpur, revealed to Times Now the horror that played out. Those videos and testimonies are proof of how the Rajasthan police once again failed to ensure law and order and endangered hundreds of lives. That has now triggered a big political fight. Listen in to the Chief Minister and the BJP refusing to buy the Congress's rationale.
मैं अपील करना चाहूँगा कि तमाम लोग शांति बनाए रखें और तनाव समाप्त करें, क्योंकि ये तनाव हिंसा का माहौल हित में नहीं है जोधपुर वासियों के भी। और जो लोग फिर भी ऐसे कोई तत्व एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट आते हैं तो सख्ती से निपटा जाएगा, ये मैंने पुलिस को निर्देश दे दिए हैं।
ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि इसी तरह की मंशा के साथ में तैयारी पहले भी की गई थी कि सुबह ईद की नमाज के समय में ऐसा क्या हुआ, किसने किसको क्या कहा, क्यों लोगों को और किस तरह से उकसाया गया कि वहां से एक राय होकर के निकलने के बाद में जे शहर भर में इस तरह के हुड़दंग, तोड़फोड़, रास्ते में खड़ी हुई गाड़ियों के कांच तोड़े गए, घरों पर पत्थर फेंके गए, दुकानों के शीशे तोड़ दिए गए, लेकिन पुलिस और प्रशासन मौन बना हुआ मूक दर्शक की तरह देख रहा था।
Now, while riots are singeing one of the 2 Congress ruled states, Rahul Gandhi finds himself mired in yet another controversy. A video of the Congress member of parliament is now doing the rounds on social media that has raised the hackles of the BJP. In this undated video, he's been seen partying in Kathmandu with some people that the BJP believes are controversial. Let me make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, the timing of this video coming out and what's happening in Jodhpur are purely coincidental, but it couldn't have come at a worse time for the grand old party. So the legitimate question that I want to ask on the NewsHour tonight, is this riot Raj under Gehlot and the Congress seeing no end? That's the question and the debate. Jodhpur communal clash, that's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Leader of the Congress Party, Advocate Abhishek Sudhir, Political Analyst, Mohammad Asif Hussain Sohail, Political Analyst. GVL Narasimha Rao, I want to ask you straight off the bat, while the BJP has been raising questions about the Congress's rule in Rajasthan, the fact of the matter is that the Congress party itself has made a huge charge at the BJP saying no violence, no riots in Uttar Pradesh anymore. Everything happening in states that have to go to polls sometime in the near future, whether it is Karnataka or Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan in this particular case. How do you respond to that charge, Mr. Rao?
Navika, good evening to you and all the viewers of Times Now. This is absolutely absurd and a bizarre allegation. I think it is for the state governments where it is in the states where such incidents are happening, rather than act against the culprits with a heavy hand. The appeasement politics of the non-BJP ruled governments are responsible for such incidents, and they conveniently want to shift the blame to the BJP for their failures. I think in Rajasthan what we have seen is after the incidents that happened last evening, one expected the police to be on high alert. So they claimed to be on high alert. But this morning after the namaz, how was it that they went berserk? After the namaz, how a section of the Muslims have really unleashed violence in several areas of Jodhpur, and they attacked common people. They attacked even the MLA's house. They attacked several shops. I think this was lawlessness on display, and the Rajasthan government must own up their failure. The Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is also the Home Minister of the state of Rajasthan. If he has any kind of, if he has any responsibility, he must apologize to the people of Rajasthan, to the people of Jodhpur, his hometown. I think he's really not been up to the mark. I would not ask for his resignation because it's a question of time that he will be eased out of power in any case.
The principal accused in the Karauli riots still on the run. And despite violence last evening, this morning Rajasthan law and order in Jodhpur breaks down once again. And those videos are testimony of the swords that were on display, the mob running riot, the arson, the looting, the breaking of ATMs, and even attacking of young children. I want to ask you, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, the Home Minister, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, what's he doing? This is his home constituency, his home state, his home constituency, and everybody here takes law into their own hands, and he has nothing to say. He has nothing to say about Karauli and now Jodhpur, and the only explanation the Congress party has is that BJP kar rahi hai, this is a BJP conspiracy. Well, then why are you in power in Rajasthan? Why don't you hand over the state to BJP so that the country can question the BJP?
Good evening, Navika. It seems that Times Now has concluded the investigation and has already been judgmental in pinpointing the entire responsibility of the Congress-led government and Rajasthan.
You think somebody else is responsible?
You see what are the
law
issues
and order,
involved?
isn't it the government's job?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Then how come in 32 days we had two communal clashes? In the first one you cannot arrest people, and in the second one you don't know what happened.
Ma'am, in the last 2016 to 2020, as per Government of India's data read out in the Parliament, there were 3,400 communal riots in the states. And most of the riots have happened in the BJP ruled states only. Yesterday what happened in Jodhpur was also because of the BJP. What was Mr. Shekhawat, the union minister, doing out there? Why did the police have to hold a meeting with the BJP party workers and the Eid organizers so that the Eid namaz passes off peacefully today? Who put up the Bhagwa flag? Who put up the Bhagwa flag on top of the statue yesterday? Who removed and who destroyed the loudspeakers in the Eid namaz site? These are the questions that need to be answered. Honestly, if you go into an investigation, you will find all this is being orchestrated by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Hindutva ecosystem, just because they cannot fathom that the elections are coming next year and BJP is out of power in Rajasthan. These are the issues that we have seen earlier in different parts of Rajasthan, a state which was relatively peaceful for the last 4 years. Suddenly the
Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Kamruzaman Chaudhary says that a union minister, Gajendra Shekhawat, has no business of being in Rajasthan and he is to blame. The BJP is to blame. No, absolutely no accountability or responsibility of the Rajasthan government, the Congress government in Rajasthan.
Navika, he's an MP from Jodhpur.
Exactly. The Jodhpur member of parliament, the union minister is being questioned for being present in Jodhpur.
Every weekend he stays there.
They are not there. You heard his statements. What type of communal statements he is giving out there? No, whatever may be the case.
One minute, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. The ball is in Dr. Anand Ranganathan's court. Allow him to speak. Allow him to speak. Allow him to speak, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Navika. First of all, a very happy Eid and Akshay Tritiya to you and to all my fellow panelists and to your viewers.
To all our viewers.
Navika, on this topic, it's very clear that the Congress state of Rajasthan is burning while the scion of the Nehru, or should I say Nero dynasty, plays fiddle at a Kathmandu nightclub. Navika, riots, rapes, murder, kidnappings, lawlessness, arrests of journalists, the most horrendous of crimes that we have witnessed in recent times have occurred in Rajasthan. But it does not even register on the radar of all those who compile these democracy or press freedom reports. आज ही प्रेस फ्रीडम रिपोर्ट निकली है और आपकी एक कंटेम्पररी जो कि हार्वर्ड में पढ़ाने जा रही थी, वो इसको पेडल कर रही है कि देखिए मोदी राज में कितना प्रेस फ्रीडम और गड़बड़ हो गई है, 142 से 150 पहुंच गई है, पर उसमें कोई मेंशन नहीं है नॉन बीजेपी रूल स्टेट्स में प्रेस की क्या हालत है, कितने जर्नलिस्ट अरेस्ट हो रहे हैं, कितने यूएपीए चार्जेस में अरेस्ट हो रहे हैं, कितने सेडिशन चार्जेस हो रहे हैं. नो इंफॉर्मेशन ऑन दैट. बट मोदी इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल बिकॉज वी स्टिक ट्रू टू पावर. व्हाई? Rajasthan rape incidence rate is 3 times that of UP. Rajasthan tops the chart with a crime against Dalit rate of 55.6 compared to UP's 28.6. There are no police reforms to talk of. 7 vehicles to 10 Rajasthan Corps. 100 Rajasthan Corps, I beg your pardon. 75% shortage in weaponry in Rajasthan. But media will never highlight the total crime in Rajasthan has increased by 31% compared to last year. Rates have increased by 38%. It's a jungle in your Raj. But it is not jungle Raj when you are in power. Remember, Navika, just 30 seconds. In Karauli, the chief minister actually blamed the prime minister for not maintaining law and order, which incidentally is a state subject. Now let me very briefly come to the other issue. The communal violence itself. Navika, there are roughly 50,000 incidents of riots that happen every year in India. A large number of them being communal in nature. And most of these riots, victim card is peddled. For example, we were provoked. हमें ये जय श्री राम जैसे provoke कर दिया इसलिए हमने पत्थरबाजी करी. But have you ever wondered why this isn't happening in UP that has 50 million Muslim population? Why wasn't there a single incident of stone pelting at a Shobha Yatra when 800 of them were taken out in UP? This is the question which I asked both the Congress and the BJP spokesperson. And to be honest with you, Navika, I haven't yet got an answer.
Well, so let me ask Mohammad Asif Hussain Sohail. Sohail sir, why nothing in UP? Why is Jai Shri Ram such a war cry once again? Why Shobha Yatras in UP are not targeted? And tonight, will you ask the question? Will you ask the question on what the Congress party is doing in the state of Rajasthan? Because the question here is that there are riots that are happening one after another. In the first riot of Karauli, we still don't have the accused who have been arrested, and now a second one. And as Gajendra Shekhawat said, Nero's playing the fiddle while Rome is burning.
Navika ji, Eid Mubarak to you and all the fellow Indians. And it's very unfortunate to see India burning here, and the Prime Minister is praising there. First, when we have issues in our home country, then, and just now when a panelist said about the Jai Shri Ram chant. See, we have never asked people to say Allahu Akbar. Then nobody should force us to say Jai Shri Ram or anything. It's a personal choice to practice their own religion. When it the state issues, what we have, who has instigated all these issues? It started from Uttar Pradesh. You're saying that in Uttar Pradesh there is no incident. There is incidents. It's not that in every state there is the incidents are going, because the polarization has started now.
Who
the
has
BJP
forced you?
and Sangh Parivar is playing a role in
anybody to say Jai Shri Ram?
Wherever the
who
elections
has
are
forced
there,
anybody to say Jai Shri Ram? Please tell me the instant. Please, let's talk of specifics.
Everywhere they are forcing. See, the mob lynching, why it's happening?
No,
no one can force anyone to say Jai Shri Ram.
When there are people after the namaz running with swords in their hands, why don't you call out those people as well? Why don't you call out those people running around with swords after the morning namaz?
Who are the people who are running with the swords? See, you don't blame a community or the religion. Rioters, they don't have any religion. If there are all unsocial elements planted by Sangh Parivar and other people,
but all
there,
Hindus,
there should be an investigation.
Provoke people to say Jai Shri Ram. Let me get in the reactions of Anand Ranganathan and GVL Narasimha Rao. Anand Ranganathan, how many Hindus have gone and forced people to say Jai Shri Ram?
Blame and religion in
where is Mr. Sohail getting this from?
Navika, I would not deny that there have been instances in the last 6 or 7 years when indeed some lynchings have happened, when people forced some Muslims to chant Jai Shri Ram, but there were equally number of fake narrative cases as well. At least 4 I can think of where this fake narrative was peddled that Jai Shri Ram was forced upon a Muslim and then the Muslim was attacked. Behral, the fact of the matter is that if Mr. Sohail remembers, akhlaq was, I challenge him to tell me who Bharat Yadav was. He won't be able to. Bharat Yadav was a Hindu lassi seller in Varanasi who was called a kafir and then lynched by a Muslim mob. If there is one incidence of a Hindu mob lynching a Muslim, there are equal number of incidents of Muslim mob lynching Dalits, Hindus and non-Hindus. But he never mentions that. Sohail Saab never mentions that. Sohail Saab will never mention.
Advocate Abhishek Sudhir, my simple point here is, hate crime is a hate crime and should be called out, and the law should follow. I even want to say that in Jodhpur there were clashes last night. The police was on high alert, and today we knew if there was a Hindu New Year, if there was Ram Navami, when there were clashes in many states including Rajasthan, then today was a day to be on absolute high alert. How in such a situation does yet another clash of this kind happen? Should we ask for accountability from the Gehlot government, from the Congress government, yes or no?
Of course you should. Of course, I'm not disagreeing with you. Since I'm speaking last, I'd just like to rebut a few points made by my good friend Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Anand, you're safely ensconced in Delhi. I live in Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. Listening to you, I think I live in Utopia Pradesh and not Uttar Pradesh. That all is hunky-dory here. But I would like to tell my good friend Anand, I mean, he made a lot of points. The first on the press freedom, I just want to take that on quickly. 3 journalists in Balia of Uttar Pradesh were arrested in a paper leak scam. They were arrested for reporting on the scam and they were called the accused. And they have now been released after 1 long month of detention. And the court said there is no evidence against them and he dismissed the case against them. These are the reasons why the Press Freedom Index, we are 150. Now, Anand, for not a second do I buy into the narrative spun by the Rana Ayubs of the world. Please understand that I love my country as much as you. We might differ on certain things. I also want to talk about an incident that has happened in Haryana yesterday. You had a situation where Sudarshan Chavanke, who has a hate speech case against him and runs another network, was administering an oath, and Asim Goel, an MLA of Haryana, was taking that oath, saying that hum balidan denge, balidan lenge, to turn India into a Hindu Rashtra. A constitutional functionary Navika ji is saying that he will turn India into a Hindu Rashtra, when the constitution itself does not allow for a Hindu Rashtra. By all means, if you want to change the constitution, reconstitute the Constituent Assembly. Let's have a discussion. In Madhya Pradesh today, Navika ji, 2 tribal men were slaughtered, were lynched on suspicion of cow slaughter. This is happening in every state. Ashok Gehlot is accountable, Shivraj Singh Chauhan is accountable, Manohar Lal Khattar is accountable, and in Delhi, in Jahangirpuri, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are accountable. Our leaders are accountable. Last point, Navika ji, 30 seconds, as Anand always says. The preamble does not speak of majority. The preamble does not speak of minority. The preamble speaks of fraternity. The preamble speaks of unity. Let us come together as Indians first. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you,
Anand
Abhishek.
Ranganathan.
Navika, can I get 20 seconds to rebut,
I'm
please?
coming to you. Yes, Anand Ranganathan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for that very measured response. And I really admire you and your skill. But I have to say this, that if you know me, and I think by now you do know me, I was the first one who has always said that it is not that the BJP is not indulging in stifling of free speech or curbing press freedom. In fact, if you remember, I was the first one at the risk of getting pilloried by the BJP spokesperson who called me an urban Naxal when I pointed out that a journalist in Gujarat was charged with sedition and jailed because he criticized the Chief Minister of Gujarat for the COVID crisis handling. The point is selectivity, Abhishek. The point is, while I point out that both BJP and non-BJP states indulge in this, the problem is that all these, the left and to a large measure, the people who are pro-Congress or whatever you may call them, they only highlight the cases that happen in BJP-ruled states. That is the problem, because that creates this wrong impression that everything that is wrong is happening after 2014. That is not the case at all. India's ranking was 142 in press index.
And that is the point. And that is the point, Mr. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary. And Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, rapes, 2 years running, Rajasthan has been the state reporting the largest number of rapes. You talk about, indices of people's health, 42% of people in Rajasthan malnourished. Countrywide unemployment status 7.8%, 28.8% unemployment in Rajasthan. And on top of that, you have riots. And you're saying BJP does that. BJP does the riots. BJP is responsible for the rapes. BJP is responsible for the malnourishment. BJP, सब कुछ BJP कर रही है, तो हुजूर आप क्या कर रहे हैं?
Saying don't be selective. We agree with you.
हुजूर आप क्या कर रहे हैं? Kamru Zaman Chaudhary.
Navika ji, I said, yes, I said BJP is not at all responsible. BJP is just a small unit of the entire Hindutva ecosystem. You must understand that the entire ecosystem is now conspiring to change the constitution of India. They are hell-bent on changing the Indian national flag. That's why in Germany also
the constellation, the entire planet is conspiring against the Congress party, and the Congress party is not being able to prevent it. Respond.
No, let me finish.
I'm running out of time. 30 seconds to you, GVL Narasimha Rao.
Navika, we have been hearing, we are tired of hearing this. We are tired of hearing this kind of rubbish. We have been hearing this from 2014 May. Because you've been used to certain kind of appeasement. You've been used to hating the Hindu community, treating Hindu community with contempt in India. And when you have to be treated on equal footing like any other citizen, you are having trouble.
Well, the question is, if it was a BJP-ruled state, these questions would be asked to the BJP. But in Rajasthan, when it happens time and again, a second riot in 32 days, the main accused in the first incident on the 2nd of April, still on the run. And today in Jodhpur, after clashes last night, once again, the police caught napping. Just where is the law and order in Rajasthan? Would the Congress party care to answer? Would Mr. Ashok Gehlot begin to get more accountable rather than raising questions about the BJP and the Prime Minister? That's the question we are asking. Thank you very much for joining me on debate number 1. Taking a short break. On the other side,